Thank you so much for finding time on your very busy schedules. I can imagine, and being with us today, it means the world. Quick introduction. I'm Lakshmi. I'm new to Turn.io, but we are mixing up town halls a little bit. And yeah, today's session is going to be the first one of its kind. And I can promise you two things. Hi, Andrew. One is that if you like to make furious notes during our sessions, do not. Rest assured, we make sure that all of the important information is sent to you after the town hall in the next few days. Secondly, this is a safe space. There's going to be so many wholesome, amazing stories, and we don't want this to be a one-side conversation at all. So I was thinking that while people join in, I had one strangely silent hour today in my life, which is rare. And it got me thinking, gee, I've come a long way and I've learned a few things. What would I tell myself? Well, Lakshmi from 10 years ago. And this question is open to everyone now. If you could just take a quick second to just reflect, I'd love to hear what you would tell yourself from 10 years ago, knowing everything that you know now. And I genuinely think that all of us would take a lot from this session if you shared your learnings. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah. Love that. This too shall pass. I have one. I learned that it's eat less junk food. That is an important one. I think I've learned to embrace change, be focused on the present. That is such an important one. Yeah, that's a good one, Uttam. More, let me see more. So many of us here. It's like ooh. Oh, that's so sweet, Rod. I love that. Be persistent. Yeah. I need to do that, but I think, yeah, I need to get into nature more. That's a really good one.
Lakshmi, I think we're going to start a new trend here with some new chat for impact goals for all of us. It sounds amazing.
How many are we? Maybe Lisa, you could just let me know when we're good to go. But in the meantime, please, Bitcoin. Oh, that's an interesting one, Caitlin. You have to say more. You can't just leave us at Bitcoin. My God, the suspense.
I think we're good to go, Lakshmi.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that wisdom. That was like a little, I guess, like a boot camp for us. Welcome to Townhall March 2023. We have a lot of exciting updates from product, community, and a very special guest, and lots of juicy stories, but that'll come later. First, I'd like to invite Pippa, the co-founder at Turn.io. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, here's something that you need to know. Pippa is a service design master's graduate, a behavioral science master's graduate, and an agency fund fellow. And here at Turn, she leads the organization's vision and strategy, and she helps ensure that organizations are able to deliver effective support to vulnerable communities and do it at scale. Pippa, the stage is yours. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks so much, Lakshmi. What a nice introduction. You got me all all red-faced and embarrassed on that one. But nice to have everyone here today. As always, Town Hall is a big highlight in our monthly calendar at Turn. And today I get the special honor of welcoming some particularly cool new members of our community. And so I don't know if most of you know, but relatively recently started, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, Turn started to branch out into South America. And we now have 5 team members over there. The newest ones are the 2 out of Brazil. And I know they're on this call. So if you guys want to give a little bit of a wave to everyone, Joao and Julia, our newest team members in Brazil. And today I'm going to welcome one of our newest Brazilian organizations to the community, Mega Edu. So Mega Edu works to bring high-speed internet to schools all across Brazil. And they're going to be using WhatsApp to give information to principals so they can get the best internet into their schools. So very exciting. They're running a pilot, which is not so small. It's about 900 schools before they scale across Brazil. So really excited to welcome them. RV Health is another exciting health tech startup out of the UK. They are focused on hypertension coaching. So if any of you or anyone in your family suffers with high blood pressure, this is going to be your single resource to log readings and get your medicine delivered, making sure that you're informed all about your hypertension. Next is Edie, and I've had the great privilege of chatting to the team at Edie a couple of times so far, and they are doing maths learning also out of the UK, and they are able to pick up 90% of students' misconceptions around maths with their best-in-class pedagogy and tutors. And so they are able to support the amazing work that teachers do in the classroom to help students reach their full potential. So welcome to the ED team. And I know we've got Aliko Maths here today, so there'll be lots of learning shared around how to do maths education on WhatsApp, definitely. And then we welcome Zana Africa. And so Zana definitely focused on something really close to my heart. They address girls' education, safety, and empowerment. And so they're equipping adolescents with the tools they need to really survive and thrive and unlock their potential. And last but not least, Dengue Health is an AI-powered health platform that is tackling the logistics gap across Africa. So if you can imagine drones flying around, delivering lab samples and medicines, as well as motorbikes and tricycles, that is what Dengue is up to. So really excited to see a different angle on supporting healthcare in low-cost communities across the continent. So lots of exciting new things happening on the Chat for Impact community this month. But there's also lots of exciting things happening at Turn. And I want to hand over to Neelka, who's going to give you a little bit of introduction into what we've been up to from a product perspective in the last month.
Thanks, Papa. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be together. I have the product updates. It's a short 5 minutes. I have 2 things that we worked on and that's already launched. And then I have 2 very exciting upcoming things to share with you today. Firstly, if you're a Stacks user, you would be happy to know that you can now also use templates with buttons in Stacks. If you're not a Stacks user, you might wonder why we talk about it, because it's already available in other parts of the product. But if you're a Stacks user, you will be very happy to know that you can now use buttons with templates in Stacks. So have a look on Learn, there's a product update, and we've also updated the Stacks documentation with an example and how it all fits together. Then secondly, I want to share that if you have a BigQuery integration set up and you get your data streaming, your Turn data streaming to BigQuery, want to point out that we've added the statuses table. So that provides information on message status like send, delivered, read. It's something we've been asked for a lot previously by you. So have a look, use it, add it to your reports, learn from how your users engage with your service in terms of getting that WhatsApp message and actually reading that messages. There's also a new contact table, which will eventually replace the existing contact details table. But once again, you can get the details from Learn, and you will see the table automatically appear in BigQuery if you already have the integration set up. So those are the two new things. And then very excited to share with you upcoming or coming soon features. We are working on a mobile view for conversations. So Turn is a web application, meaning it works best on your desktop, but we know that at times you want to answer a question from your phone, and we're working on specifically making the conversations page much more mobile friendly. If you look at my little GIF today, if you would open it, well, it's already there, so you can go and have a look. But before today, if you try and send a message, it was very, very hard. And now it renders, you can see the chat list, you can go into a chat, you can reply directly from your phone, you can click on the user avatar and you will see their profile details. That is already launched, and we're currently working on making the dashboard view also render better on mobile. So be excited and let us know what works for you and what doesn't work for you yet. And then the last update for today from my side, and it's one that gets me very, very excited. We've spoken a lot about build and stacks, I think, in the last few months. It's the new engine powering Turn. It's much more powerful than threads because you can do things not just linearly, but you've been given much more flexibility and you can use expressions, and it's really a powerful engine. And behind the scenes, we've been working hard on the no-code canvas. And I want to give you guys a glimpse into what the no-code canvas looks like, but also call out that if you're interested in testing it out, that you guys can email me at neelke@turn.io, and we'll set up some testing to get feedback before we launch it to the full community. Let's watch the demo video.
Hi everyone, I'm very excited to show you what we're working on for the canvas, no-code canvas, making it possible to build using stacks, but without having to write any code. So if you look at the screen, you will notice that I'm within the build section on Turn, and what you see in front of you is a nice canvas. Look at, can zoom in and out, I can move my cards around. So let me show you how we're building on the canvas. You will note two messages. The first one is just saying welcome to the help desk and stating our open times, 8 to 5 on weekdays. Next up, I want to say, okay, I want to build a menu card. So I say this is a menu, and we are asking the user, what can we help you with? Great. And then I give them 3 options. Maybe the first one is to say, well, ask question, or other menu option would be query follow-up. And then lastly, we may have a third section around FAQ content that we make available. If you prefer going horizontally or vertically. Okay, so I have a welcome and a message card. Next up, I want to say, let's add a message with media. I'm going to add an image, just moving it for myself. Let's say this is the response that I want to give when someone presses the ask a question button. Please describe your issue. And then I want to upload an image and I enter my URL there. And maybe I'm worried that the user is not going to navigate nicely with my buttons. So I also want to have an error message. I'll call it my button error card and say, please press one of the buttons. Okay. Just making up some content for us. Great. So now you can see I have 4 different cards on my menu or on my canvas. And how do I connect them? So I want to say that my welcome card, as you click on a card, notice how the right hand panel changes. So I want to say that my welcome card should go to my menu. And then on my menu card, I want to say that if you press button 1, you go to ask a question card. I haven't created content for the others. And then I also want to say that if they navigate wrongly, that it should go to the button card. As you make changes, you will see that savings happen automatically in the background. Will tell you when everything is saved. And then the really nice thing is you can click the preview and you will see the simulator that you might know by now. And if I say hi, I can test my interaction. I'm saying, okay, cool, I want to ask a question. And there you can see my image nicely coming up. If I reset it and I say hi again, and maybe I'm not, as a user, I just type question instead of pressing the button, and then I get my error message. So lots of great things coming up with the canvas. This is your sneak peek. We're very excited. We're continuing to work on it. And this is an invitation. If you want to test it out, let us know. You can email me directly, neil@turn.io, and then we can get you set up. And we would love feedback as we get ready to launch this to everyone.
Great. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. It's always very awkward to listen to yourself. We will talk more and more about the canvas. I've just showed the very basic flows. What it does is much more powerful than threads. You don't have to stick to linear. But in the meantime, let me know if you want to get into the testing group, and then we'll talk about it more when we launch it to the full community. On that note, I'm handing over to Manish.
Thanks, Nilka. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm happy to be here, as always. As you know, we are constantly publishing new playbooks so that you can directly download, edit, and use them as you like. In this section, today we are showcasing one of the playbooks that sends important messages at scheduled time. This is extremely useful for the cases when you want to send regular and timely life stage messages, for example, or medicine adherence messages to your users. Let us quickly see a video that describes the playbook that we published.
Hello, everyone. This playbook, when triggered by the user, schedules a set of message templates to go out at exact times for the user. You can see how we have mentioned the dates and times when the message should go out in this table called schedule table. For this demo, I'm going to simulate messages to go out in every 5 seconds instead of the time mentioned here. Let me initiate the stack by a trigger word schedule that should send the 4 template messages along with the last message to be sent to me every 5 seconds. So I'll go to my WhatsApp. This is my WhatsApp web on the left panel. I'll trigger the stack using the keyword, and I'll start receiving the messages in every 5 seconds, because remember, I have simulated this for 5 seconds instead of the time that is mentioned in the table. Okay, this was my 4th message, and I'll receive the last message that is the end of this campaign. Okay, let us now see what are the things that you would need to enable this playbook in your account and to activate this playbook. You would need 4 different profile fields in your profile section to be added for all users. First field would be signup_date. This should capture the date when the contact signed up for messaging. The second field that you would need is schedule_index to track which message the user is on. Another field that you would need is appointment_day that will store the next scheduled day of the week when the message is scheduled. The last field that you need is consent that will store whether the user has joined this campaign or not. Apart from these 4 profile fields, you would need a message template, an approved message template with 1 parameter. Remember, we have used the message template with 1 parameter in this playbook. Few other things that you have to keep in mind before using this playbook. First is these messages. This is basically the template parameter text that you have to add here. Remember, we have 1 template message with 1 parameter. So this is the parameter value in this column. This is the day when you want to send out the message, and this is the time of the day when you want to send out the message. You'll see another table called messages, and there's a goodbye message. This is the last message that you want to send to the user, and this is the template name that you want to add here, and the template language. And then if somebody sends stops, or opts out from your service, then you also need to have an unsubscription message, and the text of this message should be added here. And the last thing you need to remember is in the command such as cancel schedule stack, this stack ID is the stack ID of this current stack when you have added in your account, and you have to also replace the stack ID here with your own stack ID, and the same stack ID should be replaced in this line number 28. So these stack IDs should be the IDs of this particular stack in your account. Once you have done all these changes that are mentioned in this video, you should be able to use this playbook. I hope this helps. Thank you.
Okay, you should find this message scheduler playbook in the community playbook section. Lastly, we are happy to announce that we are organizing one help desk training session tomorrow that is focused on how to optimally manage your help desk on Turn. You can book a slot from the link that we'll publish in our Chat for Impact LinkedIn page, and I believe Indrani has already published that in the Zoom chat. Thank you. Over to you, Lakshmi.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Neelka. That was amazing. And Neelka, I agree with you. It's difficult having to hear your voice. I feel you on that. Now I'd like to introduce somebody very special that's joining us from Olico Maths, Patrick. Patrick, welcome. Can we have you here in the spotlight? And I have so many interesting questions for you. But the first one is, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about Olico Maths before we really dive in.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi, for having me, and welcome everyone to the March edition of the Town Hall events. I always look forward to this event because it's quite insightful. Okay, Olico is a non-profit organization. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Yeah, so Olico is a non-profit organization that is focusing on mathematics. You know, our mission is to make maths make sense for all South African learners. So our Olico WhatsApp Maths hotline puts a maths tutor in the pocket of every learner in South Africa. In addition to that, learners can have access to a lot of other maths resources that are quite helpful. You know, so that is Olico, and our goal is to reach all South African learners. Myself, Patrick, I'm the manager of the Olico Maths hotline, and that is what I do. Yeah, I'm the manager of the hotline. Thank you.
That is so humble of you, Patrick, because you know what? We did a little digging and we had a little birdie tell us that you are doing your PhD in mathematics and you are also an assistant lecturer. Is it legal to be that talented? Is my second question.
Thank you. I feel, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm currently doing my PhD in mathematics at the University of Pretoria, and by virtue of that, you can work as an assistant lecturer at varying degrees. So depending on what you want to do, yes. So I'm a PhD candidate of mathematics, and yeah, cool. Thank you.
That's extremely impressive. I have a question about Olico now. I want to dive deep. How does Olico Maths Education currently involve and engage communities that it serves? And how do you ensure that, you know, the feedback that you get from these children are taken into account and into the decision-making process?
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. So the hotline, our focus users are learners in poor communities. So what we do is that we regularly visit communities where these schools are situated. Like last week, we were in a community in KwaZulu-Natal where we spent a couple of days. Last year in October, we also visited, several schools for a week. So we are intentionally engaged and involved in the community that we serve. Like, I'll give an example. In the visit we had last week, we visited a couple of schools, and what we did was, when we visit the schools, we engaged the teachers. We asked them, so how is the hotline? How are your learners finding it? So in some cases, we sat down for more than an hour, engaging with the teachers. In some other schools we visited, it was both teachers and learners, where they were telling us, oh, this is useful, this other thing is useful. Is it possible? I actually asked a question on turn not long ago, and that question was as a result of our visit in KwaZulu-Natal, where one of the teachers was asking of how can they get something like a certificate or a feedback after they have completed a lesson, and that was quite useful. So we are constantly engaging with the community that we serve to make sure that we are not creating a product that is not useful and impactful to them. Thank you.
That's amazing. Can we look at the next slide? I think we'd love to look at some. Yeah, this is the best bit right here. These photos really made me smile. I mean, you can just look at how much they enjoy the process. I have never smiled looking at a maths textbook in my life, and I wish I had Olico. What would you say is the best part of your job, or what is the best moment for you? What's the highlight of your day when you're constantly, as the hotline manager, answering questions or managing everything, and everything that you do?
Okay, there are two moments. There are many of them, but there are two I want to share with us. The first one is when we create a product or a service, in our case, a lesson, an automated lesson, and we see it being used by the learners that we are serving. But the one that stands, that is outstanding for me is when we get feedbacks from this learner, or you go through a conversation between a learner and a tutor, where a learner sends a message that I'm struggling with a particular topic in mathematics, and a tutor starts engaging with this learner. And let's say for a period of time, after 10, 15, or 20 minutes, the learner sends a message, oh, now I get it. Now I understand. For me, that is the best moment of my job, seeing that the service we are providing is really impacting these learners. So for me, that's the best part of my job.
I love that. I love that so much. Now that we've spoken so much about, Olico Maths and everything that you do there, I bet everyone's curious to see how it really works. So if you could just sort of help us understand, how the WhatsApp bit works, how you're supporting learners through it, and also help us understand your journey with Turn so far. As you were developing this, were there any challenges that you faced? Have there been any learnings? We'd love to know that.
Thank you. Okay, so this is how it works. When a learner, we have a couple of services. When a learner sends the word menu, they get 3 options, either to work on the lesson. Okay, yeah, so I think this is a bit fast, but it's okay. I will just explain it. So when a learner sends a message, they get options to do 3 things, either to do the lesson, speak to a tutor, or download worksheets. In this case, the learner opts to do a lesson. So when they opt to do a lesson, they get a video. After watching the video, they are sent questions. So this is the first question. If the learner gets it correctly, they are sent, another question is sent to the learner after a feedback, which is the next level of difficulty. Now, if the learner gets it incorrectly, they are given a feedback with a similar question. And if the learner gets it incorrectly for the second time, they are given one more chance to try a similar question. Now, if they get the question incorrectly for the 3rd time, it's obvious that there is a misconception here. So they are directed to a maths tutor who will assist them in understanding the mass concept. Yeah, that is just a brief explanation of how the hotline works. So our journey so far, I think that's the second question. Our journey so far with TON has been, if I'm to describe it with a word, I would say that TON has been very helpful. They don't just provide service and leave you to, try to find how to go about it. We are actually held by the hand throughout the process. When we started last year, whenever there's a challenge, I usually, send a message to TON, and instant help from Manish. Manish has been helpful. That was how I came to know Manish very well, because anytime we had challenges, he will be there to assist us. Sometimes maybe hold a 15 to 20 minutes video call or video session with us. And that has been very helpful. That has been very helpful. The greatest challenge, I would say, was making sure we create a functional and engaging thread or automation when we started. So but with the help of TON, that challenge was overcome. And now I think we are making progress. Yeah.
And I also want to talk about specific numbers, how you've seen, your stats at Oleco improve. I remember you mentioning how a lot of, students were performing better. I want to dive a little bit and talk a little bit about, we have a Manish fan zone here for sure. I want to talk a little bit about, those numbers, because they're quite powerful. And I was honestly surprised to see the impact that Oleco has been able to make.
Thank you. Okay, so since inception, since we started last year, I think the second quarter of last year, we have reached over 15,000 learners across the 9 provinces in South Africa, where they get direct help from either from our tutor, or they download videos or worksheets. So one of the periods where these learners are coming to the hotline is during the exam period. In October, November, that is when high school writes their term 4 exams in South Africa. We usually organize what we call the 21 days mass challenge. And in that 21 days, we had over 6,000 learners download our worksheets, our revision worksheets, and they keep coming to engage with our tutors, and that is quite amazing for us, because in the space of 21 days, we had over 6,000 learners, downloading our worksheets, engaging with our tutors. And in some days, we had close to 1,000 learners that we are actively engaging with our tutors. So for us, that is something that we are very excited about, and we are looking forward to how that will play out this year. Yeah.
And I want to go back to the root of all this, right?
Okay.
What problem was it that Oleco started out trying to solve? What inspired the organization?
Okay, thank you. So in South Africa, mass education is in crisis, especially in high school level. Where in poor communities, only 1 in 5 learners pass their school leaving exams with 50% or more. And that is quite concerning. So what Oleco is trying to solve is to help learners in these communities to improve in their maths. And our motto is to make maths make sense. So we saw that there's a gap there. Yeah, these learners are suffering. They can't, just 25% are passing maths with 50%. So that is one of the problems we are trying to solve. And the hotline came about as a result of the lockdown, because we have an in-person after-school program we do in these schools. But during the lockdown, we could not meet face-to-face with these learners. So we had to improvise. We started with WhatsApp groups. But we saw that was quite helpful. So we thought, why not, scale this and reach more learners? Then that was how we came about the WhatsApp hotline. And since inception, we've reached more than 25,000 learners, more than 28,000 learners across the 9 provinces of South Africa.
That's really, really impressive. Before I dive into, in terms of the product, what plans you have for the future, I have one question. So far in the last 1 year, speaking with these learners and using the product and experimenting with different formats like videos and what would you say have been your key learnings so far?
Okay, there are several key learnings that we've seen on the hotline. Number one is we have seen learners asking some questions that they perhaps may not be able to ask in the class, especially depending on their grade. So we've observed that the hotline provides a safe space where learners can ask questions without the fear of being laughed at by their mates in the class. So that's one key observation on learning we've seen. The second one is we've seen that learners, like our short videos, our 3 minutes videos on, particular math concept. So we keep getting them asking for certain videos, that is the key learnings. And our automated lesson has been something that our the learners are quite excited about. This year alone, we've had more than 2,000 learners complete our lesson. They start and complete it, with more than 5,000 to 7,000 that have started our lessons. So these are some key lessons that we've got on the hotline. Thank you.
Wow, those are some solid learnings right there. Well, I guess that brings us to the Q&A section. Everyone just feel free. You've seen the product, you've seen it work. If you have any questions, drop it right here in the comment section in the chat box. And Patrick's right here to answer it for you. Patrick, I have one quick question in the meantime, while people are typing in. What is next for in terms of product growth? What are you looking at? What's the next step for Lico?
Thank you. So our next step is, because our goal is to reach all learners in South Africa. And one of the feedback we got from one of the schools is that some of their learners are looking forward to getting videos in their native language. So what is next for us is that we want to start, making videos and also helping learners in different languages apart from English and Afrikaans that we are currently using. We want to scale so that every learner in South Africa will be able to benefit from our service, even if they can't understand or properly understand English or Afrikaans. So we are looking at using isiZulu and other languages in South Africa. That's one of it. And the other one is we want to reach more communities, because we see that when we reach more communities, these people, they find the product or the service very useful. And that's something we are looking forward to doing, to scale our reach, to reach more learners in these poor communities.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Patrick, for your time today. Thank you for answering all the questions, for just your general positive attitude, always coming on with a smile. We've really appreciated looking at everything that you do at Olico. And I feel like, the fact that people don't have a lot of questions might just mean we've been very thorough with, going through the entire process. But just in case anybody has questions, drop it here. And I'll try my best to reach Patrick after the session, after Town Hall, and get some answers for you. I guess that is the end of our, one quick question. Uttam, I'm so sorry, we have hit time. Can I take this one? All right. Patrick, a quick one.
Okay.
How do you take feedback on the lesson outcomes?
Okay, thank you so much. So what we do is, we currently now, when learners do the lessons, when they don't finish the lessons, we know that they are struggling with something. That is one form of feedback, meaning they are struggling. So what we do is that we automate reminders to reach these learners that did not complete the lesson. That is one way to get feedback from the learners that are using the lesson. apart from that, we have gotten feedback from some of our teachers because we are engaged, we are involved in the community that we serve. So like last week, we got feedback for our lessons that they thought it would be helpful if we have like a certificate at the end of each lesson. So that's one of the ways we get our feedback, by getting in touch with the community that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your journey and, giving us a behind the scene. Now on to another very special section. I'd like to pass the mic to Pippa, who shares some very exciting updates. We did promise you that there would be special announcements, and this is it. Pippa, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Lakshmi and Patrick. I'll come back to you in a second, but since it's on the screen, we wanted to share the World Health Organization in collaboration with Pregnant.org are running a randomized controlled trial on this fantastic stress management program over WhatsApp. And if you think your users could benefit from a couple of moments every day of stress relief, maybe before their maths test, maybe they have a baby at home and they need a little breather, anyone you think that could benefit from the Breathe program, it's a short 5-day program, please don't hesitate to send them this link, or even, share it on your service or your chatbot as well. We'd like to make sure that these types of accessible mental health services get to as many people as possible. So would really love your help in that. And next, I want to say that we're really, really grateful and proud of the Hera Health team who've launched earthquake response program in Turkey. They are helping people affected by the earthquake find help and support from different NGOs, as well as helping NGOs share the data on what help they have to provide. And they're creating these crisis maps that are extremely useful for people on the ground to know where to go and how to receive help. So a big shout out to Hera Health for all the hard work on their earthquake response. And lastly, I just want to say big thank you to Patrick. It's really exciting to me that we have started to get more and more organizations doing maths education. I think this combination of having an automated worksheet to go through with the little videos is such a nice way to really start to engage your users, but then you have a human coming there to help you as soon as you get stuck. And I think that model of automation with a human always there to support you when needed is a fantastic one. And I think it's replicable in a lot of different use cases, whether that's in education or health or otherwise. So thanks so much for sharing your learning. And I'm very impressed with how many users you are getting. And yes, we will get you to every learner in South Africa. I'm glad you said that. That can be our new goal. So we're with you every step of the way to get to every single learner. And for those of you who want to connect with us in other ways, please don't hesitate to reach out on our support line. As you can see, Manisha's very popular there, but also on LinkedIn or Twitter. And if you want to see the video of all hands or any further learning material on the product, YouTube and our learn.turn.io are where to find you. But thank you so much, everyone, for sharing the last 45 minutes with us. As I said in the beginning, we love having you all to chat to during this time, and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.